Okay, perfect. We got there in the end after a few technical difficulties. So, hi everyone. I hope you're doing well and slept fine. So, my name is Danny. Now, I've been self-publishing for roughly 5 years now, and I just wanted to show kind of this graphic of my journey over the 5 years. So, in December 2020, you can see I made $1,688.45. Then the following December, I made $2,735.31. Following December after that, $3,113.58. And then came the big jump in December 2023, where I made $7,305.70. And then the biggest jump of all finally came in December 2024, where I made $26,257.97. And I just wanted to show this as it doesn't happen overnight and that you shouldn't give up at all. Now, the first 3 years of my journey was an absolute roller coaster. As you can see, most people, that's not to say that that's a bad income, but again, most people, they want to get to that 10K mark. They want to get a lot further on the line. Now, in those first 3 years, I published so many books. So my background is I'm a low and mid content publisher. I've got roughly 1,053 books. Now, in that first year, somebody can guess how many books I published in that first year alone. Less than that?
600.
Perfect. So roughly in the first year, let me go to the next slide. So I published 694 books in my first year, right? So that was the strategy at the time a lot of people talked about and that promoted. And as you can see, that is absolutely exhausting, right? A lot of you guys are hearing that number. Now in my second year, this was roughly around 250 books. And then in my third year, this was roughly around 50 books. So over time, I'm slowly getting down a lot more. I'm refining my process, right? But still, that is a lot of books, and that's what a lot of people were teaching at the time, especially with low and mid content. So as you do, you follow what a lot of the gurus and a lot of people are saying at the time, and that nearly ended me up quitting this business just because I was doing between 1 to 4K each month, and which is okay, but as I mentioned before, you want to get towards the higher end. And as I said, this strategy, it was not working at all for me. It was leaving me burned out. I was not enjoying the business at all. And, I really wanted to get to 10K a month. But the only way to do that, I realized, was I really needed to dominate my market. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, dominating your market. So with what I'm about to share with you, one of my books did a 10X. So in 2023, I'll show you this. So in 2023, this is just one of my books. I've blurred it out, but I've showed that it's an activity book, right? So with this book, you can see that my ad spend was £173.69, and my total royalties for that book was $1,469.84 in December 23, right? But then, just a year later, that same book, right? You can see the difference now. So that book, the spending was roughly $1,000 for it, and that same book made me 12K, right? And for this, the margins are insane, right? But what did I do within that 1 year that was able to make these results? And I'm going to be sharing a few of those strategies with you. So first strategy that I want to talk about is about creating rival brands. And I've kind of labeled this building your fort. So this is a defensive strategy in the first place, as many low and mid content books, they have many copycats, right? So as soon as they're not difficult to replicate. So as soon as you create this type of books, there's usually, and the book's doing well, there's loads of people that are coming after this, right? So I had quite a few books that were doing really well, but for example, people would just see them, copy them, and it would be really, really frustrating. Now, a fort, I've given a definition. So a fort is a fortified military structure or place designed for defense, often with strong walls. So I needed to continue to defend my niche first of all, so I could dominate. Now I'm going to show you this example, right? So me and my girlfriend, when we were coming, we went to Burger King, all right? So no judgment. But I saw this as the perfect example of my strategy, right? So you're seeing on the screen, you see 20 nuggets, okay? You see 6 nuggets and you see 9 nuggets. Now the pricing of the 20 nuggets is £8.75. And that's ideally, that is what they want most people to get, right? But the pricing now of the 6 nuggets and the 9 nuggets, you would actually think that there's not a huge difference, would you not? So you'd actually think like, you know what? Seeing that, I might as well get the 20 nuggets. And guess what we both got? The 20 nuggets, right? So this is the exact same strategy I use with my books, okay? So with that particular book after 2023, I had the best book. So we can see this would be make it go back. So this would be for example, the 20 nugget example. So my best book that I created at the time, it was the highest price within the niche. The book had the best cover. It had the most reviews, right? And this is the book that I want most people to buy, right? However, I created a second book. Now this second book was slightly lower value. So say for example, with an activity book, it might be, the best one would be a 100-page list, 100 different activities, right? Then the second book I did, it was maybe, let's say 70, for example, and the price was slightly less. And then the third book after that, the price was the lowest, and it might have had maybe 50 or 40 activities within that. So with that strategy alone, especially with the second and third book, I would make sure that they would have more reviews than anybody else within my particular niche. However, the top book, it has the most reviews. As I said, it's the best. But the other two are to kind of defend, competitors from coming into my niche. So if somebody might come in, they might maybe try to compete with those books at a certain price. But again, they're not going to beat those books because those books, they have more reviews than anybody else. So with this, I'm able to leverage price anchoring. So I'm able to dominate my niche and I'm able to basically pick the price. I'm able to, because my top selling best book is the one that everybody looks at, the one that everybody goes to. But even if they don't choose that book, right, then some people, honestly, they're cheap, for example, so they will go with maybe the second book or even the bottom book. So in this instance, the top book in that December, it made roughly around 12K. Now the second book, it made roughly around 2K, and the third book made roughly 500, right? But the main thing was everybody was focused on the top book, and that's why it performed so well. Now within that, so on the first page, you're seeing all those books, plus I'm running ads on those books as well. So my book is focused, is stuck on those first pages. They're all there aligned, and then other people are trying to get in, but my books are the ones completely dominating that. So I've completely captured that market. So if anybody does try to come in, it is a real challenge for them. Secondly, with those books, I'm constantly improving them, and I'm always building towards Q4. Now, the main things with low and mid content books that I create, they are giftable books, right? So, and at Christmas time, people always love to buy gifts. And many books suddenly have kind of a massive drop in BSRs. So before Q4, you really need to start preparing your books. You need to start making sure they're appearing on, the first pages. You need to start making sure that, they have a lot of high reviews. And as I said here, one of the things I will especially do kind of leading into Q4 is I'll actually change or improve my covers. I'll improve the A+ content. I might make an updated edition for that book, for example. So it might be, let's say, a 2023 book, and then the following Q4, I'll make a 2024 edition. So it's still the same book, right? But all I'm doing is updating the cover. So I'm changing it. So instead of it saying maybe 2023 edition, now it says 2024. But in the title, right? Don't put that in the title, just because you're not able to change your title. So if you maybe label a book, 2023 planner or something like that, then you're not able to change that. But if you're able to maybe just call it the planner or whatever book you want to, and then each year you're updating it, what will happen is that, especially in Q4, people love new kind of fresh, engaging content. So for example, look at, the iPhone every single year. There's not a huge increase in the actual improvement of the iPhone, right? But just because it's new, just because it's, to say, the iPhone 14, 15, 16, 17 or whatever, people will buy it just because it's new, all right? But maybe the camera gets slightly better. Maybe there's, a few smaller things, but it just gets slightly better. But with books, we talked about things such as value stacking yesterday. This is something that you can do every year with your book. So you're adding more value, you're adding so much more content to improve it. You're constantly building, reviews as well. I think Gerald talked about the flywheel strategy as well. So that's something that you can do to keep on building reviews for your books. Another big thing is, because my best book, for example, the example I gave with the 20 nuggets, right? Because this book is the best book, I'm able to increase the price of it with each Q4 that comes. And with this, every year it's compounding, right? So with combining all of these, I'm improving my cover, I'm creating more engaging content, I'm building more reviews, I'm doing more updated versions, I'm increasing the price. It's compounding all the time. So again, next December, hopefully it might even be, double that, or be, I hope it'll be a lot higher. So that covers just two of the strategies that I've been using to really kind of dominate with that book. But now it's more important than ever to dominate your niche by building a brand, all right? And many brands have been expanding into social media platforms, such as, there's a lot of different ones out there, TikTok, Instagram. But for me, I'll go into that in a second, but the most important thing about building your brand and dominating is that, especially through social media, is that you need to be driving your own traffic. So instead of just hoping that Amazon, ranks your book, you can actually send traffic, straight to it. And I think Andre talked about yesterday how Amazon loves kind of traffic that's sent to it from other platforms as well. And so with, as well, having your content on social media as well, you're able to build trust and authority. And then buyers are more likely to trust a real person or a brand that they consistently see online. And you also have some form of control and contact and connection with your audiences through social media, through TikTok and Instagram. You're able to respond to their comments. You're able to engage with them a little bit and also get feedback too. But for me, the fastest platform to build an audience is TikTok, right? There's millions of users on it every day. It is the easiest platform to go viral on, and it's also free to market your books as well. So that helps with your margins too. Now, there's a lot of false assumptions with TikTok. So a lot of people think that the content is mostly silly, it's superficial or mindless, right? A lot of people just expect it to be, yourself dancing or something like that. But you don't have to show your face to grow. And I'm going to show you a few examples. And that should say, and you don't actually have to make videos too. You can also make, carousels, slideshows. So you don't have to feel that, okay, you have to create, a long video or anything like that. You can just, I've seen people go mega viral, have millions of views, and they've only got, 2 or 3 slides. So we'll just go over. Now there's a few things I want to share about how to go viral on TikTok in the first place, right? And I recommend if you're going to create something, you need to have these 4 things included. So first, you need to make sure that the post you're doing is relatable, okay? People love content that they can connect with, and it needs to have a strong hook in the first place. You need to think about the images or the video you're creating, the aesthetic of it. Are you going to have kind of a story around it? And the sound is hugely important that you use too. You also need to find a way to encourage comments too. So the more comments you have, the more engagement, right? So sometimes I'll see people who will rile people up in the comments. They'll do everything that they can just to make sure that, they're rage baiting people, and they're having more and more comments that keep on coming all the time. Also, it needs to be shareable, as shared videos will reach a lot more people. Think about maybe you're creating something for couples. One partner might want to share it with their other partner, for example. So there needs to be that kind of shareable element. And then you also need to add some sort of controversy or emotion. Now, it doesn't have to be something that will get people so angry or frustrated. It can just be something as simple as just spelling a word wrong, right? People love to be right. So in the comments, a lot of people will say, you spelt this wrong or something like that. And then a lot of people will try to correct that person as well. And it'll just keep on going like that, all right? So you need to have, ideally, these 4 things to go viral on TikTok. And as I wanted to show here, let me try and get the mouse across. So with TikTok, you have the love heart on top. So you want to make sure, as I said, it's relatable in the sense that people will want to, click that love heart. They'll want to like the content. You want to make sure, as I said before, that you're able to encourage comments. So you want to be seeing that people that are writing a lot in the comment section. And with that relatable element too, then people are likely to, favorite it, or maybe even come back to it later. And then this is what I talked about with the content being shareable too, that, people would want to share it with their friends. They want to send it to somebody, maybe send it to their partner. So it's important to have these types of elements. So I'm going to show you quite a few examples, and I want to go over the areas that I've mentioned about it, being relatable, about how it encourages comments, as well, about how it's shareable, and maybe if you notice some sort of kind of controversy or emotion that they've added, and then finally ask you guys how many views do you think this got. So the first one I'm going to share is more a low content journal. So should see it come up now. Hoping the volume comes to. There we go. So this is just a slideshow. Give it a second. Oh, okay, perfect. All right. So with this, we can see the first slide is kind of a provocative question in the sense. So it's somebody asking, I dare you to answer this next question honestly without crying, right? So if somebody's saying like, I dare you, for example, like you're gonna want to prove that you can do that thing, right? So they're almost pushing you to kind of answer, kind of respond. So then they're almost forcing you in a sense to at least take a look at the next slide. So if we go into that, then what they've done here is they've just shown their book, for example, okay? And then the next slide is just a prompt from the journal. So you can see if I wrote a book about your first heartbreak, what would the last sentence be? And then what a lot of people have done in the comment section, they've wrote, they've responded with their answer to the question. You can see the first person they've written, and in the end, I just needed you to be my dad, for example. So people are writing, their own experience, right? And for somebody to guess, how many views do you think that this video got? Let's see. Give me a number. Perfect. You've seen it before, haven't you, probably? Yeah. So this just alone, from a few simple slides, this got over, 2 million views, which I think is absolutely crazy for just 3 slides, right? And this is something anybody can do, very simple to do. It works great in the journal niche. So a lot of people have been using this particular phrase here. Now I'm going to show you this book on Amazon as well. So we can see with this particular book, I think me and Gerald were having this conversation about it. So with TikTok, if you're going to create a book for it, everything you've learned with Amazon, you have to kind of put it out the window, right? Because look at the title, the subtitle, the description isn't great, the cover isn't great at all, right? But this book, if you take a look, has got 13,000 BSR. It's been much lower before than this. Now there's other books as well that are even doing better than this, but I don't really want to show them off and add competition to them. But this particular book, as you can see, it's making, according to BookBeam, $116 to $145 per day. And what will blow your mind as well is, for a low content book, look at the price as well, right? So a lot of people say with low content books or mid content books, you can't get a huge royalty. But if we take a look at how much this book is actually making, look at that, that's putting in all the details of the book. This low content book is making a $7 royalty, right? So this shows that you can actually, with low content and mid content books, get a much higher royalty for your books. But you need to be using the right strategy. And through TikTok, again, this book has been able to create its complete unique market. Oh, let me turn. As well, you can hear the music in the background, kind of the emotion that it adds to the video too. So everything kind of just blends together to create quite a simple but a really great slide that a lot of people have responded to. And one of the important things about this is you can see that there's actually no CTA, so there's actually no call to action. They're not telling anybody where to get the book, right? And what will happen is you'll see usually in the comment section, people will actually ask people, okay, where can I find this book? Where can I see this book? And then some people will respond, okay, it's on Amazon. But the main reason for not having, go to Amazon or something like that within your slideshows is that I've noticed that TikTok, they want to keep you on the platform as much as possible, right? So if you're putting things such as go to Amazon or go here or go wherever within your slideshow, for me, it doesn't perform as well. But as soon as you just leave it and you let people kind of respond in the comments, then the videos just seems to do fine. But yeah, TikTok, they just want to keep as many people on the platform. So that's just one example of a low content book. But I hope just that example alone kind of changes your mind towards low content books. Now the next example, let me show you. Oh. Give that a second. So the next example that you can think about doing is kind of text conversations, right? So between maybe couples or something like that, between friends, between families, right? So with this particular book, between couples, and you can kind of see the conversation that's been going on there. And with this book, so for example, it's a low content book, and it has activities that couples can do between, and they're all numbered between 1 to 101. So let's say, for example, you pick something like, page 59, then there'll be an activity that, both couples can do, for example. So you can use this and have, whatever conversation you want to rile people up, to really maybe get people frustrated. To maybe, I've seen people leave the conversation on a cliffhanger, for example, right? And then you see here in the next slide, they've given an example of actually what is on page 62, right? And then they've extended the conversation, cool, I'll pick you up in 30 minutes. And then the next slide here, it just shows kind of a visual example of the page. They've just written down kind of what they did. And they've got a picture as well of, what they've done as well, which, if you're in a relationship, that's quite cute. But if you're single, you're probably quite annoyed by it. As some people have kind of written in the comments. And it might cause, a lot of people to maybe share this with their partner. It might cause them to maybe at their partner in the comments. But how many views do you think that this video did? Well, this slideshow did?
9 million.
A bit less than that. So this one did 3.2 million views, right? Which again, just from a few slides, I think is crazy. And if you're able to kind of constantly get this traffic to your book, then kind of the possibilities are endless. So that's another example. I just quickly wanted to go back to the first book, as I forgot to mention something. So with this book, you can see that the different forms of content that they've done as well. So yes, they're doing slideshows on top of that, but now what they've done too is they've started doing just 4 or 5 second videos where somebody's just answering one of the questions. They're showing their emotion, kind of answering the question, what they've been through, right? And then the camera is just literally zooming in, and then the book closes. So you're trying to read it, you're trying to quickly understand it, and then the book closes. So then you're probably going to want to watch it again, all right? And you can see how many views. You can see, like this one had, 340K. We've got 1.1 million. 3.2 million, right? And this is something that's so simple to do, and it's working like crazy. So I'll go into a little bit later as to how you can kind of search and find your own ideas for your particular book. But what I want to show as well with this particular book is at the start, they validated even before creating the book. So I think that the first ever slide, the first ever thing that they posted got 1.5 million views. But as you can see, 50 deep healing questions. All they've done is they've wrote on a paper, right? They've wrote the question out. So before they even created the book, they've seen, they've just created, on a paper that people can respond to. And then they've seen by the response, so look at that, 1.5 million views. Then they've tried a different style. I'm not too sure why they did that when that was working for them. And then again, 1.3 million views, right? So from this information, they know, next thing, we're getting a lot of traction, we're getting a lot of comments, people are interested, right? So from validating that, then they go and create the book. So you don't even have to create the book in the first place. If you just maybe create a few engaging slides and you're getting that kind of traction, then you can create this book very, very quickly. And it's not a complicated book to make. A lot of them prompts, you can just go into ChatGPT and it's very simple to do. So the next example, I want you guys to see. All right, this particular book. So this is more of an activity book. It's not a slideshow, it is a video, but it's quite simple, yeah? So again, very simple short video. How many views do you think that video got?
I say, just on the likes, it has 1.9 million likes. I think it has 20 million views or so.
So yeah, so this video alone, I've got the number. I think you're roughly right. So, oh. You know what? So I'll give that a go again. We got there in the end. So yeah, 15.6 million views, just from a simple video, right? That's not too complicated to do. But with this particular video, who do you think the audience is for this?
People with anxiety.
Perfect, that's good. And again, they know who their target audience is. Again, they've created a simple book around it. And you can kind of see in the comments, one person is already saying like, okay, this line, this line isn't perfectly in line with the middle of the highlight. It's causing more anxiety, right? So I think probably on top of that, it's a fantastic video. But what they could have done to kind of add on to this video, they could have maybe done a random line somewhere, something like that, just to add a bit of controversy and just to kind of irk people even more, right? But just from a simple video like that, it's kind of mind-blowing to get that many views. So again, that's something you can do if you were thinking about an activity book or kind of a puzzle book, something along those lines. Okay, so I need to find my mouse now. Yeah, perfect. So next I wanted to kind of go into a few ideas. I know the majority are kind of high content, but a few ideas from that could potentially work. So if you're somebody who's into maybe travel guides, kind of lifestyle, that sort of content. So you can see this. So this TikTok here got I think it was 2 point something million, right? And all it is just showing photos and just explaining how to spend 1 week in Dubai. So a really simple example. So you can see the first slide here, and then it just says one of the main attractions, Burj Khalifa, and then you've got the Dubai Mall. So people are seeing images. So people are gonna want to keep on sliding to see more of what they can do in Dubai. You've got another place here. You've got another place here. You've got another place here. And this content works just because a lot of times people will have their own opinions on what they think the best places are, right? So you'll see in the comment section, people will be like, no, like, oh, how have you missed out this place? Or, this areas might be much better, right? So you get a lot of responses with this kind of content. And what this particular creator has done, they don't do, Amazon KDP, but with TikTok as well. So if you have less than 1,000 followers, then you can't put a link in your bio, but as soon as you get over 1,000, then you are able to put something in the bio. So what they've done here is if you just click on that, again, as I said, they always want you to keep you on TikTok anyway, but those interested will, again, they'll click your link, and then, you know, you can see that she's simply selling, you know, travel itineraries that people would just go on there and buy, right? So real simple idea, you know, nothing too complicated there, but again, she's able to, you know, travel checklists as well, and, you know, whatever she wants to, whatever else she wants to offer, you know, Dubai luxury stays, maybe she's getting, you know, commission from that, but there's just so many ideas with this. Okay, so, and I think on that point, even if you have less than 1,000, what you can just simply do in the bio is just say something like search, and then whatever the book's title is, and then on Amazon, right? So that's all you need to do, and people will still, if they, you know, like and have really engaged with the idea really well, then they'll still go and search that book on Amazon. So this is, let's have a look. So the next example now is, again, this is another super popular book on Amazon, but I know that he's created a lot of, you know, content about his book. So for example, this video that got over, you know, 460k views, all he's doing is just talking about a topic that, you know, we all deal with, we all have kind of questions about, and he's just kind of explaining the root cause of it. And a lot of people that, I mean, we all deal with suffering in some sort of way. So a lot of us are going to want to stay and kind of listen to what he speaks about. And then you see some people, they've added, okay, you know, what is the book called? They want to find out a little bit about the book. But literally all he's done is just read through a page of his book, right? And it got, you know, these insane amount of views. So again, that's something that can work if you've got something, you know, within your book that kind of can relate to a lot of people, right? And then this next example is more for AI. So this is kind of the AI Bible official channel, and they'll be probably using a lot of tools like, you know, Sora and things like that. This is a little bit more advanced to put a book, to kind of put a video together. But again, if you want to go down this type of route, we'll take a look at one of their videos that maybe got an insane amount of views. Let's have a look. Let's maybe take something like, yeah, 5.2 million. Where is the mouse gone now? Okay, so we'll take a look at the, let's say for this one. So again, you can use like an AI tool or something like this to create a video like that. And it's just kind of crazy how far AI has come to be able to create videos like this. So with that, one of the things that, you know, they've done really, that does work really well on TikTok is that comparison as well. So we're talking about, you know, maybe how you did this versus how, you know, this is, for example. So this kind of content works really well if you are able to have that comparison, because people will want to stay to see the difference, right? And then again, what they have done at the top is, again, they've linked their website, and then you can go and you can find kind of, you know, whatever they're selling. You can go and find that on there. But again, with yourself, if you have an idea around AI, then you can, again, you maybe link your book or link whatever you want for people to find. So from that, the final thing is, so for you to start setting up your own account, right? So to do that is quite simple, to go to TikTok and start an account. But what you don't want to do is make sure that don't start by posting videos straight away. You really need to warm up your account just by liking and engaging with other content. So this way, TikTok, they're not going to think you're a bot, and you won't get 0 views when you upload, because a lot of people will just upload right away, and then they'll start seeing like they're getting 0 views. But you need to warm up your account so TikTok will think you're a real person. So when you eventually post, so I'd say give it at least 24 to 48 hours before you start posting. But between that time, just be engaging with content, and you can also search, for similar content that you want to create, right? So in this way, if you're literally only watching the content that you want to see, for example, related to any particular book, like maybe you're only watching activity book content. So if you actually do this long enough, then it will force the algorithm to always be showing you just relevant videos to activity books. So let's say, for example, you're focused on activity books, but you see a video on something like food, quickly swipe off it, and then just watch the activity book kind of videos for longer. And then what will happen is you'll start seeing more kind of activity book and activity books that are performing, that are doing well, that are going viral, and then you'll get kind of ideas from that. So doing that if you do that long enough, then again, it will force the algorithm to kind of show you the relevant videos that you want to see. But that takes us to the end of my presentation. So I want to thank you all for listening, and I'll just open it up. Thank you. And then I'll just open it up for any questions.